Hey, welcome to Wow, that's really
That was loud.
Wow.
All right. That's okay, though. That's okay. We're it's STEM week, right? We're supposed to be loud. We're supposed to be making noise.
We are. And so I have the STEM Week sticker that I picked
do.
up on Tuesday from Secretary Tutwiler when I was at the Cape for their STEM Week announcement for a grant. So, and the slogan is STEM starts now. So when does STEM start?
Now.
There you go. STEM starts now. So we are in the middle of STEM week. Of course, we do STEM in Westfield Public Schools all year long. Sorry. This week we just kind of highlight it. And so, for those of you who don't know what STEM week is, the Healy Driscoll administration is sponsoring it again this year. I think it was started under Governor Baker, right, Kate? I think, yeah. So. Obviously we focus on encouraging our students to study STEM, learn about STEM opportunities from really pre-K all the way to post-secondary and beyond, because STEM is everything, isn't it? Pretty much.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, STEM is everywhere.
It's making sense of the world around us.
It is, and I know you're coming back. Thank you, both of you, November 7th for our STEAM show, right? So we got the A, right? So we're doing that. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, so... I lost my train.
That's all right.
So it's an annual statewide event that takes place the third week of October, organized by the Executive Office of Education and STEM Advisory Council in partnership with the state's 9 regional STEM networks. It is a statewide effort to boost the interest, awareness, and ability of all students to see themselves in STEM. Young women, students of color, English language learners, and students with disabilities continue to be underrepresented in STEM fields, yet make up a larger percentage of the overall workforce. So we need more learners to go into STEM, because STEM starts when? Now. So, Lauren, I'm starting with you on this because I know that you also went to something yesterday at the Basketball Hall of Fame. What was that about?
Yeah, so I didn't get to go because I was in Philadelphia, but I did.
That's right.
That's right.
It was a great time. But my teachers, my Project Lead the Way teachers at Westfield High School, took 25 kids to the Basketball Hall of Fame. It's the Mass Makes Innovation Challenge, which is put on by Mass Makes, which is like a state organization around manufacturing and engineering. And they did a series of engineering challenges, and it was sponsored by the Pioneer Valley STEM Network, which both Kate and I are a part of. And
were you in Philadelphia too?
I was not in Philadelphia. No, I went last year to Philadelphia.
Okay.
So it was a turn in the Philadelphia
We
rotation.
get to go to Washington, D.C. with the high school to do inspiration visits next month. So
Yes.
we'll be on that
Fun.
trip.
yeah,
Fun.
learning a lot. And they had some really cool STEM in Philadelphia, so
Nice.
bringing it back.
Well, today we're in the place of STEM. It is Westfield Gas and Electric, right?
So grateful. Yeah, such a cool experience for our kids.
They're such a great partner for Westfield Public Schools. And I want to
Absolutely.
shout out Tom Flaherty and the
yeah.
team here. Joe Mitchell I saw walking
Yep,
in. And
saw Joe earlier today.
yeah, I mean, they support our schools, not only in STEM, but really in so many different ways. So I want to express our appreciation to them. But we're here today with who, Kate? Who's with us?
So we are here with Matt Price. He has an 8th grade computer science class. So
Okay.
we took them here to Westfield Gas and Electric to really see what they're learning in class and how it happens every day in Westfield here at the Gas and Electric.
Which is, there's a lot to hear. I mean, it's not just gas and electric. It's so much more, right? Whip City Fiber and such. So I think they also learn a little bit about the internet while they're here today
Yes.
too, right?
They sure
Yep,
do.
They sure do.
And I saw Mr. Dufresne is here. So is he here with the class or just joining in the fun?
Mr. Dufresne is just joining in the fun. So he's come with us. We've done this field trip now. This is the 4th or 5th time.
Maybe
Yeah.
5.
I think so. So Mr. Dufresne sort of was our first person in his class to
Guinea
come.
pig,
so
if
he's
you
our
will.
guinea pig. Yeah. So he's just, our veteran, and he's so good at, being here with the kids that we needed another chaperone. So he was the perfect pick. But he works with 7th graders. So the students that he has now will hopefully be able to come on this trip next year.
Next year.
Nice.
And I also just want to recognize we have WTA Graphic Communications Arts
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
students
Yes.
running the cameras for us today, and Ken Snomsky, of course. Thank you, Ken, for helping out. We've been putting him to work lately.
Yeah, and I want to just shout Ken out and the crew because it takes a lot logistically.
Well, I see all the equipment they
Right,
brought here
it's-
today. Not easy, so
Right,
thank you. And
yeah.
Ken, of course, was at our last week event with the Secretary Tutwiler.
That's right,
again.
at Westfield High School.
Oh, yeah.
And every college president in the area was there, too.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to talk to some students? What do you?
That's a great idea.
Yeah, what do you
Well,
think?
why don't I give an overview real quick
Okay,
of what they're going
perfect.
to learn today?
Yeah, and talk about the pickle.
Yeah.
Talk about
So
the pickle.
we are currently stationed at the electric and safety area. So the big part of this station is they're learning about how not to get electrocuted. And so they talk about the pickle because the pickle is 90% water, so it conducts electricity pretty well.
Yeah, water's a good conductor.
It sure is.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure is. And so, like other parts of this station, they have a bike that will generate electricity if you pedal it. And then they have an area over there where they're looking at the safety tools that people at Westfield Gas and Electric use every day and why they use them, right? Don't, if you ever see a wire on the ground, don't touch it. So there's
No.
like some general safety.
No.
They're
And if
going
you're on the
over.
river and it's lightning and thundering, get off the water.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good thing.
That makes
Also, like
sense.
lightning and thunder, just like go inside.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
like, yeah. So, but some of those things we're saying like lightheartedly, but like people are curious people by nature. So explicitly telling people about what happens and why the wires, they fall in a puddle, why that conducts the electricity, why you're not even safe, like being near that area, right?
Right.
Right.
And then the other part is one of my favorite stations they do is because, like all people, we think internet is magic and science.
It's not magic?
Science is
a little bit of magic.
Science is like magic, only real. I have a shirt that says that. So like magic, only real. And what's exciting about this is they're learning about fiber, which is not just like Wi-Fi. It's transmitting your internet through these cables that do it at the speed of almost the speed of light. They're using it's fiber optics, so it's like these very tiny glass tubes.
It's come a long way since dial-up. Let's put it that way.
Oh sure,
Yeah.
sure
Do you even remember dial-up, either of you?
I do.
Oh, I do.
course.
Of course.
Just
I
check.
remember getting in trouble because it took the phone line.
It took the
My
phone
My
line,
mother did not enjoy
and I
that.
wish I could recreate the sound that it made when you like that sound. You
Yeah.
know, everyone knows that
We know the
sound.
Oh yeah.
And boy, was it slow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It
Yeah.
was
So this is so much faster.
so much faster. And then the other station, which is really interesting because these students are in Project Lead the Way Computer Science for Innovators and Makers. So they're actually programming their
What does
own.
that mean?
Yeah. So they're programming their own microbits. So they're using code. And we start teaching coding as early as our kindergarten classes. We do it unplugged, so kids aren't necessarily in front of screens, but they're learning all about computer science and how to
That's
create
amazing.
algorithms and inputs and outputs and, giving the directions to the computer to tell it what to do because that's how computers work. And what they're learning here, you guys just hear their demonstrations.
They're doing something cool.
Yeah, it's definitely something cool. And so they are learning, they actually have computer scientists here, right, that control the programming, they build the sites, all of those things. So they're seeing that real life.
Okay, what's going on over there? I have to ask.
I don't know, but maybe we should find out. I don't know. Yeah.
All right. Well, they're doing something cool.
Yeah. It definitely is.
The kids are paying attention.
Yeah, and all the adults.
Yeah. So are we. Well, it's a little distracting.
So then WTA is actually helping in another aspect today. The culinary department's coming up and catering lunch for our students here
Oh,
today.
Chef Rogers and Chef
Oh,
Leslie
yeah.
and Mrs. Boyso, they do a great job.
Yeah.
I don't think we could do STEM week without WTA.
Never.
We've made them leave WTA a couple times this week.
Oh, yeah. They did an amazing job at Westfield State.
Yeah,
Kate
so
was there.
We had them come to Westfield State on Monday. We had our fourth graders from Abner Gibbs with the PV STEM network. We had the professors and the IT students do stations with the fourth graders all about different STEM topics. And that was just great to have them there. And I think it was one of their favorite stations. They loved all of them, but they really liked seeing the kids there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
having someone to relate to.
Absolutely.
And then the IT department helped with the tour and lunch after.
Mm-hmm.
They ate lunch at the college too. And, our
Yep.
fourth graders love to be around high school students.
Yeah.
They made slime. They had,
Oh, I want to make slime.
they put the
Oh, yeah.
human bones in the right order.
Yeah, it was a disarticulated
did some-
skeleton they had to re-put back together.
Yep. Chemistry of the colors and M&Ms.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. It was a good day.
Is that a good activity or is it a bad activity when you learn what's in the coloring?
Well, it was more about the chemistry of the colors and pulling them out and seeing that, like the color green, you can pull out the colors yellow and blue.
Yep.
I know my colors.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
great. Kate.
So that was kind of what it was about. And they were looking with, with the special lights through this, using their camera. And it was very cool for them.
Excellent. And hopefully this generates interest in STEM, right? I mean, that's why we do
That's
this.
the goal.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a-
think that's the big goal this year. They change the themes up sometimes, and in the past it's been see yourself in STEM, and they've changed it to STEM starts here, and it's kind of like, or STEM starts now, and so the point of that is this big push around preschool education too, and we really have done an amazing job in Westfield Public Schools this week of partnering our older students with our youngest, because STEM starts now in everywhere in Westfield Public Schools. Kids are learning STEM every
I once
day.
had someone say to me, "It's too young to teach preschool kids STEM."
Nope,
Nope.
No.
nope. And
Especially if you're trying to generate interest, right? Because
Right.
when you're a kid, that's when you start realizing the things you like and don't like,
Yep.
and if there's a way to get you interested in the career at a young age, I think you can set a path for yourself. I mean,
maybe the way we used to teach science 30 years ago would kill it for them, but we're
Right.
not standing up and
Listen,
lecturing kids about science.
I had a 4-year-old on
Yeah.
Tuesday, and I asked him a question. I said, "What is happening in this pumpkin right now?" And he said, "It's a chemical reaction."
that is that.
So
that
Not
is
too
great.
early.
STEM starts now.
Now STEM starts now.
And
Yeah.
what's the coolest part about the high school kids coming down and work, like high school and the WTA students coming and working with the younger students, is they're facilitating the stations. They generated questions to ask the kids, so they're not just giving the answers away.
So they're
to
teaching.
Them.
And if you want to know something really well, they say teach it,
Yep.
it's
and
true.
you will get there, right?
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, and Lindsay Ayers, the pre-K to 4 STEM coach, like just instrumental.
Totally.
Just she has like crafted these stations to really address the state standards, because people may say it's too early to teach it, but the state says we should.
Yeah. Well, and then there's that piece. Yeah.
And but it's true, and the kids, I have a 3-year-old. She's in preschool, and she is so curious. And if anything, science, technology, engineering, and math is about your curiosity.
Well, she takes after her mom. Yeah.
So I think about it a lot, and how really toddlers, preschool age children are making sense of the world around them. It's why they ask the questions why so much. That's what science is,
Right.
right? It's
Figuring out the why.
it is figuring out the why. It's understanding the natural world. If
Yeah.
you were to look up the definition, and so it's a natural segue. And we're just
Awesome.
so lucky to have so many things in place for these kids.
Agreed. And you just gave us a natural segue
That's what
for
I was
our
gonna
first
say.
break.
Make
Isn't that
sure- make
terrific?
sure
Yeah.
you capitalize on that.
Yeah. I don't know if your mic's working.
My mic's
Can-
working, right?
I can't hear him.
I don't think it's working that good. No.
No.
All right. So it's really a good time to take a break. And there's no year this year. We just have 4 songs about science. So our first one is She Blinded Me with Science by Thomas Dolby. We'll be back after the break and a mic check on Chris.
But you blinded me with science.
Support for community programming on WSKB is provided by Betts Plumbing and Heating Supply Company, an independent, family-owned wholesaler serving Westfield for over 50 years, specializing in plumbing, heating, and industrial piping supplies. Visit bettsplumbing.com or 14 Coleman Avenue, Westfield. Public welcome.
Join us every Thursday morning
from 6 until at least 7:30.
Check out the Bobby G and Company Show
right here on WSKB 89.5
Community Radio.
89.5 WSKB.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM WSKB Westfield.
Hi, welcome back. We are over here with Kaylee at one of the stations at Westfield Gas and Electric. Our students here are powering these light bulbs by riding this bicycle. Kaylee, how's it going? Yeah? Now, did they explain to you what's happening here? You're turning on the lights. I'm here with Mr. Dufresne. He's a Project Lead the Way teacher at Westfield Middle School and helping facilitate this field trip today.
Yeah, and we were just saying before we came on the air on this break, the students are generating
Haley's
three
tired.
different types of light bulbs. LED on this side, this is the old incandescence. And we were just talking about the efficiency of an LED, which is pretty commonplace in our houses today because of the lack of heat that the incandescents create a lot of heat, little light. This creates light, very little heat. And so that's where you get those savings in electricity and the output of it. So I will say, too, that you guys use LEDs in your Project Lead the Way class. That little battery that's 3 volts in your Chromebook powers all that stuff that you guys do, which is pretty incredible to be able to get that. Why? Because you use LEDs in your microbits and the LED lights that you use. So
cool. So, guys, is anyone else going to give it a try? We've had 2 kids
who's up for
already
generating
go.
a little electricity in the Whip City?
A little spark in our science. Not everyone at once.
Go ride the bike.
Kaylee's over there drinking water because that was tough.
It's a lot of work.
Does anyone want to quickly come over here and talk about their Project Lead the Way experience with computer science? I can make direct eye contact. Or
Talking through it, too.
Put him on the spot.
Quite easy.
no hard questions. All right. So who here, can we just get a show of hands, who here did the design and modeling class last year? Project Lead the Way design and modeling class. Yeah. So does anyone want to say what that class was about? What did you do?
What do you remember doing? Good word.
Hey, hold on. We love that. What did you do?
We did isometric sketches.
Good.
Isometric sketches. Absolutely. And did you design something for someone? What did you end up designing?
Remember the first thing you did in the class?
Orthosis.
A foot ankle orthosis.
Perfect.
Yeah, for someone with what? Do you remember what you were designing it for? A student that had trouble walking?
Yeah.
Because of cerebral palsy? Yeah.
There you go.
Awesome. And now that you have Mr. Pry this year for Computer Science for Innovators, what are you doing now?
We're coding with like the microbits and like stuff.
And have you learned coding before you got to this class? Do you remember?
I think I did it a little bit in elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what Scratch is? You guys,
Ooh,
you guys
Scratch
do
is
a lot
fun.
with that. So it's block coding, but it's JavaScript, which is the language that they use. It's the same thing, and you guys are using that in your computer science class as well. So block coding is a lot easier, but behind the blocks are that's the text of each code command. So it's a lot easier for you to figure that out, right? You just got to figure out the sequence, right?
Yeah. Now, as someone who was sitting over here earlier and heard the loud banging over there, can someone tell me what was happening? Because we couldn't see you, and I wanted to.
Yes.
Like, I wanted to
We're
be over.
curious.
What was that loud bang?
What was happening?
Spark?
It was sparks? Could you see it? Yeah. It was just...
Yeah.
And
We
like,
heard.
like a boom sound, right?
Yeah.
There was like spark, and then like, yeah.
Okay. And it went like a couple times. We were sitting over here jealous. We wanted to be able to walk over there and see it. We'll definitely have to go to the next group before we leave.
And
Absolutely.
even more so, could you feel it? Like you could hear that concussion as it came at you. It kind of gives you an idea how much power that is being generated by those systems, right? So absolutely.
Yeah, we're super grateful to Westfield Gas and Electric. This station primarily is about electricity and safety. Did anyone learn anything they hadn't known before? Anything about electricity that you hadn't thought of before?
Well, I will say, Kaylee put on the gloves and the
Okay.
hard hat and the sleeve vest. That was kind of awkward at first, right?
How
You
easy
gotta
was
kinda
it to move
manage
in that stuff? Not a lot of fine motor skills able to happen with that. You couldn't do the
Screws.
Oh,
and
you had to
stuff.
do the screws with those gloves on. Yeah. Kind of brings you a new appreciation of people that are doing that.
And if you know that our technicians at the Gas and Electric, they go through a 5-year training course that includes safety, but also how to do their jobs using this equipment. If some of you go to the Tech Academy and you graduate from the Tech Academy, one thing you'll do is you'll go into becoming, you get that certificate, but then you have to apprentice. That program right there is their apprenticeship. And so it takes 5 years to get good enough to go out and do the job on the road and resupply power back to the customers in Westfield. So,
Yeah. And does anyone had, you guys looked at a transformer too. Has anyone ever heard like a loud boom and then the power goes off? Anyone ever heard that? Sometimes transformers, that's what they're fixing. They fix a lot of different things here. We're really like super grateful for that. I don't know about you, but I enjoy my electricity and my fiber, which is a station you'll go learn about next.
and Lauren, I will say, and they mentioned this earlier in our tour, that the computer science aspect will come into one of our other stops later.
Yeah.
And they're going to talk about the system that they use here that uses computer science to determine where outages exist, and it reduces the amount of response time so they can get power restored. So we'll talk about block coding and using their system. You'll see it. It looks very familiar to what you do in computer science for innovators and makers. So.
And I would like to add too, like part of the reason we are our emphasis in Westfield Public Schools, we start teaching coding now. Did you guys know in kindergarten? Yeah. And the reason is we know that jobs that are getting created every day, jobs that don't even exist yet, we know that top quartile of jobs is going to require this basic understanding of coding, of computer science. And so you guys are getting prepared for 5 years down the line, when you decide what you're going to go do and when you part ways with Westfield Public Schools, we know that as a graduate, you are going to be prepared for whatever you want to do.
And just like learning a language, like learning any language that communicates, you guys will learn JavaScript now, and maybe that language is going to change when you become adults. Maybe they'll use some other language in your coding expertise, but you'll have the basics, and that's like learning your letters. It's like learning to combine letters. It's like learning how to create words and then paragraphs and punctuation. They all follow the same pattern, and that's important to get that at a young age so you can make those applications as you go through your lives in your careers. So it's good to start young. Become second nature.
Does anyone here think about going into science? You don't have to know what you want to do yet. Science, technology, engineering, or math.
Let me ask you this. For those of you who said yes to my question about Scratch, do you find that the block coding is a little easier? Like you kind of seeing it already, you're like, oh, I know how this works. I can kind of, maybe you don't know all the answers, and Mr. Pry may have to help rephrase a question, but do you find it's at least more familiar to you and you go, okay, I can figure that out, right? So that's what getting this experience in school is all about, is getting you prepared. For those of you who go to Tech Academy or you go to the high school, you're going to have that background to say, I think that's something that I could do for a job. And that's what we're hoping you get out of your time here in the schools.
Well, we talked a lot about WTA. WTA has an IT shop. Of their shops, almost all of them deal with STEM in some way. But Westfield High School just got designated, this is the first year, with an engineering manufacturing pathway. And so you can, if you like PLTW, if you like this kind of hands-on coursework where you're diving in and building and getting feedback and iterating on that process, there is an amazing new pathway at Westfield High School where you are doing 4 years of engineering courses that end with a capstone with you creating your own project. So there's some really cool things if you're interested in that. And the state just designated us this year as our first year. So we're really excited about that. And you get college credit.
That's Miss Sweeney's program at the Westfield High School.
Yes, Miss Sweeney. She's excellent.
So she's awesome. And all those instructors at the Tech Academy, they're fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
So wherever you jump to next year,
can't go
you're
wrong.
in good hands.
Absolutely. Because STEM starts when, Miss Lauren? Now. STEM starts now. All right, we're going to go to our next break. When we come back, we'll talk to Mr. Dufresne a little more one-on-one time. We brought him up a chair. We're going to listen to our second science song. This is Space Oddity by David Bowie.
ground control to Major Tom. Ground control to Major Tom. Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. 10. Ground control to Major Tom. 8, 7, 6. Commencing countdown, engines on. 3, 2. Check ignition and may God's love be with you. This is ground control to Major Tom. You've really made the grade, and the papers want to know whose shirt you wear. Now it's time to leave the capsule if you dare. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in a most peculiar way. And the stars look very different today. Here am I floating round my tin can, far above the world. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do. And I think my spaceship knows which way to go. Tell my wife I love her very much, she knows. Ground control to Major Tom, your circuit's dead, there's something wrong. Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear me, Major Tom? Can you hear? Sitting in a tin can, far above the moon. Planet Earth is blue, and there's nothing I can do.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And welcome back to Superintendent Spotlight and the voice of Pete Coles. How can we forget Pete? Thank you,
can
Pete,
we forget
for all
Pete?
that you do for us at the studio. We appreciate you too. So we are broadcasting live here from Westfield Gas and Electric, and the place is abuzz. There are students everywhere. We have a bike that we were making electricity. We were frying a pickle.
Frying pickles.
All kinds of good stuff happening here. And we have Pat Dufresne, who is a teacher at Westfield Middle School. And Pat was in the earlier segment working with or talking to some of the kids. And Pat, these are students you had last year, if I understand correctly, right?
I had them as 7th graders for design and modeling.
Okay. And so now you get to see them in 8th grade, and they're here in a different capacity. I mean, it's STEM week, and I know you've been involved, and we love having you in the district, but also here on our show today, because your enthusiasm is contagious, and we love
Absolutely.
that.
Yes,
So,
it really is.
so tell us,
Absolutely.
tell us a little bit about what you're doing and what you teach at Westfield Middle.
Sure. So this is my 5th year teaching Project Lead the Way.
Yeah.
And we started out with a grant and Lauren was instrumental in our schools getting that. It's pretty transformative as a teacher, just as an educator.
Love hearing that.
Project Lead the Way really goes to the nth degree to get us training and to provide the equipment and making sure that we have everything that we need. I think there are other supporting elements of Project Lead the Way. We're fairly fortunate here in Massachusetts to have agencies like the 1-8 Learning Hub.
Oh, yeah.
They're extremely helpful in getting us training and getting us equipment. Very beneficial to us as educators. I just love Project Lead the Way's approach because it really applies a lot of the learning that the kids have to what's going on in industries today. The field trip is awesome. I mean, this is our 4th year coming here, and the kids really get that connection. And I remember a couple years ago, I was talking to some of the IT specialists here, and I said, could you maybe talk a little bit about conditional coding? And oh yeah, absolutely. And they made it so applicable to what the kids learn in computer science.
I think our kids need that today, right?
Absolutely.
We need it too, by the way.
And we were just talking with the group over there before the last break, and just getting them in early and getting them to understand how coding can benefit. And it's not that hard, and that's what they realize.
It sounds hard, though, doesn't it?
Does
You hear
sound
coding, and you're like, oh, no, all set.
Absolutely.
No,
but
it's not.
when they realize that JavaScript code really does create a language, and that language does certain things. And like any language, whether you're learning English or whether you're learning Spanish or any other language that communicates, coding is a language. JavaScript is a language, and learning it at a young age, learning your ABCs, learning how to structure words and sentences and paragraphs, that's all part of the learning in JavaScript or coding that they need to be able to get a leg up when they get out of our high schools. So I will say, too, with the Tech Academy and all the learning that goes on there, tremendous opportunity for our students here in Westfield. And a lot of this is directly applicable to Project Lead the Way in the classes that we teach.
Absolutely, and I think you see a change in high school, really, because even Westfield High School now, we have a criminal justice pathway, and we have the pathways that you have started with biomedical and manufacturing engineering, right? Anything else I'm missing?
Well, we're applying.
There we go, Kate.
Okay.
We're applying for the business and finance pathway, so hopefully we get that as well, and we can start that next year.
Absolutely. I mean, kids have access to so much more information today. We have access to so much more information than when we were kids, right?
Absolutely.
And so I think the students can do more than we did because they have more access to stuff and things and info.
Right. And we always talk about, like, in Westfield Public Schools, we're a very diverse group of kids, like we're serving. And you talk often about achievement gaps or whatever between groups of students, but it's really an opportunity gap. And we are providing pre-K to 12 opportunities to our students that will level the playing field wherever they go.
Absolutely.
They will be able, and when I was talking to these students, I said, it's not whether you want to go into science, it's can you.
Right.
And when you leave Westfield Public Schools,
You can.
You can.
And I think it was. I was hoping to see more kids say they wanted to go into science when you asked the question. If they, how many were going?
I think
in.
they were nervous. They
I
did
think
tell
so,
me
too.
earlier they did, but like they were a little nervous.
Well, because they had a mic in their face, and that makes people nervous.
I will say though, and being a teacher in Westfield and a resident in Westfield, I run into former students, and it's great to see. You ask them, so what are you doing? What are you into? And they'll say, oh, well, having your class was great because I could kind of understand what it took to get into this career. A lot of my former students are teachers, and a couple of them are at the Tech Academy.
There you go.
And so I've been in this for a couple of years. It's great to see that jump that they take into their professional careers. And I think a lot of the offerings that we give here in the Westfield Public School are important for them to kind of understand, where am I going to fit in the world when I get out into past graduation?
Well, I think we try to expose them to a lot.
Sure.
And it's, to go back to that question, though, it's tough to ask a student, a 13 or 14-year-old, what they want to do.
Oh, of
for the rest
course,
their
of
lives,
course.
Okay, I mean, let's put that out there. So, maybe they're not ready to commit, but I think we're planting seeds, right? Would you say that's true?
Absolutely.
I also think we're facilitating the structural changes we need. So, like, talking about the structure of Westfield Middle School, we have, like, the principal of that school and the teachers in that school have created a structure where kids can take these classes.
Right.
Because there's on a trimester, there's a block schedule that allows them to take their PE.
They have more time.
Imagine that.
Yeah, they're not out 35, 45
Love it.
minutes.
Love it.
Yeah.
Gotta say, to that point, I love having the hour block.
Absolutely.
You get so much done.
Of course you do.
You can build up, you can have them work, and then you can take it down.
Of course.
And finish the lesson and say, okay, move on to your next class.
To your next piece.
And then you bring the next group in.
Absolutely.
And that's a new change this year. You know, Mr. McMillan has.
He's around here somewhere.
Yeah, I saw him. He's around. He's taking pictures and.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that that's like huge for not only Project Lead the Way classes, but I know in Kate's math classes and in my Open SciEd science classrooms, like that's just to set up an experiment. The classes used to be around 40 minutes, and so like to get in
40 minutes is fast.
It is
Too
fast.
fast.
So
Too
fast.
fast.
When I was in high school, when we did stuff like that, so we had you met like I had biology 5 days a week, but we had a lab
Yep.
like every other day.
Yep.
And that's when the experiments would happen. And the thing is you needed that extra time because
Oh, absolutely.
it's hard to plan something. You know, I was a history teacher. We had 45-minute blocks, and even that was difficult. Sometimes I'd be doing we'd be doing some kind of simulation. I used to do a simulation for a factory, right?
Yep.
And so,
So
the assembly line and the kids, it's kind of rushed. You didn't get the full
absolutely.
effect. I was trying to put them through like a 12-hour workday with heat conditions. I'm like, yeah, this is what the people had to do back then.
Pat can back this up, but you were a STEM teacher, Stefan, and you didn't even know it.
I didn't even
Because
know.
that is
There you go.
Everything-
There you go.
That is a tech engineering standard.
It
The
is.
Assembly line.
Well, we did a Civil War
I'm
reenactment
not
too.
kidding, yeah.
That was pretty fun.
So
But you need more time for these things.
I was going to say on your first question, Stefan, about just being a PLTW teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my training through Project Lead the Way. You literally, I was a student for the classes that I was going to teach. We went to Worcester Polytech Institute, and I went through a 1-week course, and the training was phenomenal. They were by teachers. They're master teachers that have X number of hours in teaching Project Lead the Way. But I also, with the 1-8 Learning Hub as well, we do refresher trainings that I do during the summer. It's perfect. It gears me up for my school year. It gets me, and they also update you with any changes. And there are a lot of changes in this technology and in this particular curriculum. So it's great to have all that in August. Gets me into my school year, ready to go and teach kids anything that might have changed.
And we do this curriculum in elementary. We're so fortunate. One of those community leads is our own Lindsay Ayers.
Right.
So we are on the
She's
forefront.
terrific.
Oh my gosh, I can't say enough good things, but we're on the forefront of everything.
There we
So
go.
It's just, we're so lucky because the people leading the we have a conference on Monday. We're sending 22 educators to
Oh, wow.
to a Project Lead the Way conference. They get to pick their sessions, and Pat has been in the past. It's an excellent time where they get to decide where they want to perfect their practice, right? So there's so many different sessions, and I'm just so excited to go.
Well, we're a Project Lead the Way district. Is that a
Absolutely.
fair statement?
Oh, yes.
What does that entail?
Well, we would be a Project Lead the Way district if we offered it in any capacity, but I think what is exciting about Westfield Public Schools is there's a clear pre-K to 12 pipeline of Project Lead the Way. Kids in Westfield Public Schools get this not only as their core science curriculum in elementary, they get it as their technology special, and they get it at Westfield Intermediate School. We've added a course this year. We added a new course called App Creators, which kids are making their own apps.
Oh, that's so cool.
So
We
cool.
also use PLTW for our summer vacation academies.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
And
Kate
this year, it's
did a
the
great
first
job with
year that all of the teachers are trained,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, that's great.
So we
Progress, Mr. Rogers.
Progress indeed.
are amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and it is truly hitting to all fields because we benefit from kids learning in the intermediate school and the elementary level.
Absolutely.
It's not foreign to them. They're
So by the
familiar
time
with
they
Project
come
Lead.
to you, it's not like they have nothing.
They know the drill.
They know it.
And it's just maybe a different class, maybe a different area that we explore, but they are familiar with it from.
But it allows you to go deeper into content,
It
I
does.
would imagine, because you don't have to teach the basics, I guess is the way I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as I said, the group that we were talking to before the last break, many of them on their own go through Scratch, and they enjoy that type of
All right,
interaction
Scratch.
with coding.
It's so Mr. Dufresne can explain it, but it's essentially a program we use for kids to do block coding in.
It's JavaScript based, but it's block coding, so they understand that the blocks have to interact with each other. We talk conditionals where if this occurs, do that. Otherwise, do this. And so they get to see how one condition results in something and another condition results in a different outcome. Fantastic stuff, and like I say, that's their world. That's what they interact with, and being able to kind of tie into that's perfect.
But they're exposed to so much than we ever were. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Over here.
Yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm trying to listen to Pat and watch what's going on over in the corner.
I keep seeing kids rotating off that bicycle.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to ride that all day, Mr. Rogers.
I had well, when I was saying to some of the folks earlier, when I was the principal of Abner Gibbs and Westfield G&A came to us, I did that in front of the whole school, and I didn't stop. I was not stopping until every one of those light bulbs was lit up. Then the kids left, and I sat in my office for like the next hour, couldn't move.
I was gonna say,
It's like,
how'd you feel the
I was
next
throwing
day?
the white flag in. I'm done, right? You know, so that's a tough assignment over there.
It sure is, but exciting.
Yeah, and Mr. Pry, Matt, is over there. He was instrumental in this field trip, setting up all of the, all of the information we needed to know, getting his kids into groups, preparing them to come here today. So he's another one of our Project Lead the Way teachers. He's an excellent addition.
Awesome.
All right. I think it's a good time for a break. It's 9:45. You're listening to Superintendent Spotlight. We are broadcasting live here from Westfield Gas and Electric, the Operations Center, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Our next song, by the way, is Rocket Man by Elton John.
Ooh.
She packed my bags last night, pre-flight, 0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high as a kite by then. I miss the earth so much, I miss my wife. It's lonely out in space on such a timeless flight. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man they think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. Mars ain't the kind of place to raise your kids. In fact, it's cold as hell, and there's no one there to raise them if you did. And all the science I don't understand, it's just my job 5 days a week. A rocket man, a rocket man. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man that think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out there alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time till touchdown brings me round again to find I'm not the man that think I am at home. Oh no, 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 I'm a rocket man, burning out his fuse out here alone. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time. And I think it's gonna be a long, long time.
Live from Studio 120 at Westfield Technical Academy, this is WCPC Channel 15 and 89.5 FM, WSKB Westfield.
And this is Superintendent Spotlight, and we're broadcasting
And we're back.
live. We are. We're broadcasting live from Westfield Gas and Electric as the groups go through the stations that the gas and electric folks have set up. Talking about STEM, though, and we at Westfield Technical Academy has come up a few times, and it is their open house tonight from 6 to 7:30. You can check out all of the programs in the shops. And again, 6 to 7:30. For more information, please contact Kevin Daly, 572-6533.
Great.
Sounds great.
Yes, absolutely. So we've had a great week for kids. You were all just showing me pictures. Let's do a recap of what we've done for STEM Week in the Westfield Public Schools.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw it over to Kate to start with our...
All right, so let's start with Monday. So, actually, let's just start whole week. So one of the biggest things that we've done is we've been highlighting Project Lead the Way, which we've highlighted quite a bit today on the show. So we have been visiting classrooms that have been participating in Project Lead the Way. So we have myself, Lindsay Ayers, Susan Dargy, Lauren and I are going to some classes today, just seeing what the students are doing. And we have seen, it's really just quite amazing to see these tiny humans saying these big words and really understanding these complex things that you just, when you watch it, it's just truly inspiring. And just to see them having fun with it. We were in a 5th grade classroom yesterday, and they were doing a simulator with food webs, and my math brain, like, they're analyzing this graph and being able to so it's cool because it is applied, STEM. Like, every single part of STEM is being applied in all of these units. So just to see them doing that, it's quite incredible. We see, so part of Project Lead the Way is they do launch logs where the students will, they sort of map out what's going on in their brain and put their thoughts on paper, and just to read those, like, Lauren, we were just looking at one done by a kindergarten student, and it's just, it's amazing. There's no other words for it. We've been putting pictures and stuff on the Westfield Public Schools Facebook page. So really, we just encourage you to look at it because it's truly inspiring to see what these kids and these teachers are able to do with this program. So that's been going on all week.
Right.
And then
we've also had STEM career spotlights all week at Westfield High School. So
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Patty Healy and Cara Gentle have worked their tails off, bringing in so many
Thank you, Patty and Cara.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
They have brought in so many different careers into the high school this week. And so a Navy engineer, the director of safety for the Bay State Reference Labs, which is LabCorp now.
Right.
The 2 nurses, one a hospice nurse, one a nurse in the ED. So,
What's ED? Emergency department. Just okay.
also, quite a few of the presenters are Westfield High School graduates, right?
Sure are. And the other really cool thing was one of the things we're highlighting. STEM has math, and
Of course.
we love
Well,
math.
that's the M in STEM.
It is the M.
That's the M in STEM.
And they did a whole day of, like, accounting, business, like the math ties that the kids are very interested in going into seeing, and some they might not have heard of before. And
Right.
Patty and Cara have invited these classes to attend. I think I was most jealous of missing the nuclear engineer from the Navy, but so that was really cool. And also colleges have come. They did a big college fair, but this is specifically about STEM programs at, like, Westfield State University and at STCC and at HCC. So and Winnick has sent some engineers over as well, because we have so many kids interested in engineering, and it's such a broad field. So.
It really is, and I think people don't realize how broad it is.
So to continue in, like, Westfield High School today, actually, Renee Sweeney's engineering students, intro to engineering students, so these are, like, some freshman kiddos that have created these games, and they're taking them down to the preschool at the high school, and the preschool kids are going to get to play the games that the high school are facilitating. Go ahead.
No, you finish your thought on that, because I thought that was a great way to segue into pre-K. And
that's what I was about to say.
Perfect.
But and one of the big things, we have these innovation career pathways, and we have these advanced math students. And one of the things we try to teach in Westfield Public Schools, especially around working with different people and having empathy and understanding working with people of different age groups. And so these preschoolers, we have had high school students, AP Calc students in Mr. Ball's class, Miss Saunders' class, and today Miss Miller's class from the high school have all gone to different preschools and run STEM stations, and the kids love it. The high school kids, the preschool kids, it's just, I was like looking at pictures on my phone and I'm like, oh my God, the smiles from ear to ear. But Kate was there. She can tell you a little bit more.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, one of my favorite things is seeing the high school students interacting with the preschool students.
I like that too, actually, because we've broadcast from Fort Meadow.
Absolutely.
And see that, and I got to tell you, the high school kids are great.
They are great.
Such a good job. They get so excited. They put the goggles on too, and the kids just eat it up. So, again, STEM starts now. So I think every single one of our preschool students in Westfield Public Schools has done something this week for STEM week. So whether it's, doing the games with Miss Sweeney's engineering students or doing the STEM stations that were really, we started them at Fort Meadow a few years ago.
But now they're everywhere.
And now they're everywhere. And again, Lindsay Ayers, did a lot to really
super instrumental.
Her brain with elementary education and just like creating it so that it is very standards based and very 3 and 4 year old friendly, but also engaging and meaningful has just been, we couldn't do it without her. And so we've done that at every preschool. And so we started that on Tuesday. We did it at Highland and at Munger Hill. And then we went to SRS on Tuesday. And then today we are there all day at Fort Meadow. So just they're running through different stations. They are, doing the exploding jack. So we've highlighted that on the show in the past. That's a favorite.
Kids love it.
Like I said before, I had a 4-year-old say to me, "It's a chemical reaction."
Right.
We even got it on video. How cool
That
is
is
that?
great.
It's just so cool. They went out into nature and they collected all of the leaves, and then they made a collage from the leaves. So just understanding, the change in season and what is happening there. We did an acorn drop this year. That was a new station. So they working on their fine motor skills and being able to use tweezers to drop the acorns in, but then also count the acorns. So we're just, again, bringing in that math and making
Love
sure,
that M.
They're counting. We did, again, some more with the seasons change where we had them paint the trees, so a spring tree and a fall tree, and just understanding the different colors. We have a dancing corn, so again, seeing the reaction between the baking soda and the vinegar, and it makes the corn.
Listen,
dance.
that stuff is cool for adults too. I
It's
just want to point
very
that out
cool.
to you.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers and I love that
And
stuff.
I think
We do.
I think it's amazing, and I know we're going to run out of time, so I do want to just highlight the one school we haven't talked about STEM week in is Westfield Intermediate School, and
Right.
Kate is doing a really cool project tomorrow with them.
Yeah, so we, I think, poor math, sometimes we have a little bit of a harder time making, getting all of these like applied learning experiences and making the learning really meaningful. I think, as an adult, as grown-ups, we see that math is everywhere and we can sort of say, like, this is why you're doing it. But as kids, sometimes it's harder for
It's
them
harder
to
for
make
them
that
sometimes to,
connection.
right.
And so that's something that we're really working on. And so, again, Pat mentioned the 1-8 Foundation. So we've partnered with them in PBL Works, which is a project-based learning company. And we have this backpack project where they designed, using a very similar process to what they do with PLTW and Open SciEd, where they designed a backpack and using, volume and surface area and the nets of three-dimensional figures. So, it is the 6th grade standard. It was exactly what they would have done with their Ready Math curriculum, but a lot more, engaging and meaningful and, applicable to sort of the real world.
Well, and I think one of the things too is we're encouraging student discourse. Isn't that true?
Sure are.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. So
Yep.
We love discourse.
So tomorrow, everybody designed a different backpack because they designed backpacks specific for their clients. So we had a member of City Council, Mr. Figgy. Thank you so much. We also had a couple people from Elm Electric come.
Nice.
And yeah,
Great.
so they came. They met with the students, people on the curriculum team, and the students interviewed us and asked us, well, what do you need in a backpack? What do you need it to look like? What size do you need it? How many pockets? What do you need to fit? What do you need to put in it? And so tomorrow the backpacks are done and the clients are coming back to give the students feedback and see how it came out. So it's cool that every student
well, we hope
is
for some happy
different.
customers.
I think the clients are pretty happy.
I think
Really?
they're going to be happy.
I think
Mr.
that
Figgy is
Figgy
too?
has talked about his backpack. It's a diaper bag / cross country bag. It can fit it all.
Really?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Grandpa cross country extraordinaire over there.
That's incredible.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
So, that's just, I think the last thing I'll say is just we're thankful for the community here in Westfield.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I mean,
For
all
sure.
of these things that we've mentioned,
are made possible by the community.
Westfield State, the Gas and Electric, Elm Electric. I mean, we have it's a great community to be in.
It surely is. And that takes us right to 10 o'clock, and we are out of time.
Yes.
But we want to say thank you to both of you
Yes, thanks for being here
bringing
today.
us here. And, of course, to Gas and Electric again, to Pete and Ken, and to the students. We've had a great time here today. I can't believe the hour is already up.
I can't believe it
It
either.
goes by so fast. So we will be back next week at Studio 120 when we will be talking to Mr. Jamie O'Neill and a couple of our behaviorists, PCBAs, and we're
very
going to
good.
learn about that for
Very
those
good.
who don't know.
Perfect.
And then our last song that's going to take us is Weird Science by Oingo Boingo, and I just wanted to say Oingo Boingo today. So there, because you don't say that every day.
No, you don't.
So I think it was a one-hit wonder, but that'll take us away. All right, folks, have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week.
I can't imagine.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention? Weird science, elastic tubes and pots and pans, bits and pieces, and the magic from my hand will make it weird science. Things I've never seen before, behind bolted doors, through an imagination. Weird science, not what teachers said to do, making dreams come true, living tissue, warm flesh. Weird science, plastic tubes and pots and pans, bits and pieces, and bits and pieces. My creation, is it real? It's my creation. Ooh, my creation. It's my creation. Weird science. Weird science. Oh, magic and technology. Voodoo dolls and chants. Electricity will make it weird science. Fantasy and microchips. Shooting from the hip. Something different will make it weird science. Oh, pictures from a magazine. Diagrams and charts. Mending broken hearts and make it weird science. Something like a recipe. Bits and pieces. Bits and pieces. Pieces of my creation. Is it real? It's my creation. Do I know? Hesitation. The heart of gold. It's flesh and blood. I do not know. I do not know. From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?